I don't want the movie theaters to ever go away, man. I just I love the fact that well, I miss that we all grew up in an era where movies were passed down to us through word of mouth, and then we would be taken to the movie theater and just be whisked off into this world, and then we would go home and they would be on video and they would be on regular TV. We had all these different cable stations that would play classic films. I remember my mother showing me Psycho when I was like, I don't know, I think I was 6 when I saw Psycho. And I remember I would see all these films from the early 80s, The Exterminator, just all kinds of obscure films that they would just be a surprise to me. And I just miss the fact that I really think streaming and COVID is kind of, I'm going to use a strong word, killing just the rotation of these classic films, not films that are made for profit and for Netflix and for streaming and all that nonsense. I'm talking about classic films, classic storytelling, even like The Last American Virgin. I wouldn't have seen that film if it wouldn't have been for Encore. And just the power of seeing those films and the storytelling. It really breaks my heart when I see I think Denzel's got another one coming out this Friday. Mm-hmm. And it's like, oh yeah, coming to streaming. That's BS. Denzel, you need to see him on a big screen. I don't want to watch Denzel on this thing that I'm looking at right now.
You just got to have faith. You've got to be a glass half full kind of guy. And just, the same thing with, I was having a conversation about conventions just the other day. And, the hope is 2021 we'll get back to some level of normalcy. And hopefully the same thing with theaters, because when people are able to get out, they're going to want to go places, and the theater will definitely be on that list, I think.
I'm always like a bright side kind of guy. And one thing I have noticed is kind of a bright side about this is that the drive-in was given a shot in the arm. Mm-hmm. And speaking of older films, since they couldn't get new product, there were a lot of older films that got re-released to the drive-ins that ended up back in the charts, basically, and people were talking about them. And I thought, so if you got to look for a bright side to this dark situation, it's that at least some older films got some love, and the drive-ins, people suddenly remembered they still existed. Mm-hmm. So I'm hoping that this brings back the drive-in to more prominence. Go out and see movies at the drive-in. You might not be able to get, like in my area, you can still go to the theater, but the drive-in is where it's at. And it's like, it's great that you can have that experience again. So if you can't really thank the situation we've been in, but you could kind of try to look for a bright side. Like, you made us stop and think about what was important, what we were missing. And we were being so bombarded by too much media that we couldn't possibly pay attention to all of it. Back then, we didn't have all the stuff that was just taking our attention away. You could sit and digest a movie like Last American Virgin and just think about what that character was going through and put yourself in that position. And now it's like here today, gone later today. You see something else 10 minutes later and they don't remember the other thing they saw. It's like, oh, I think I saw it, but it doesn't resonate with them. They don't have time to marinate with it, and actually it doesn't become part of their fiber like it was back in the day. Right. So this gave us that time to slow down and pull movies out of our collections and go to the drive-in if we had the chance and actually fall in love with what made us love movies, all over again. So for that, I'm thankful at least.
Not to mention, Mike, I think one other thing too is back then nobody could watch movies like this.
Exactly.
Yeah, there were no phones. There was no, nothing like that. No streaming. It was, you had to appreciate it. You got a chance to go see a movie in the theater. It was going to be 2 years before it was on TV. Yeah. So you paid attention. You know what I mean? You paid attention because that was like, oh, I got to memorize every frame because I'm not going to see this again for 2 years. And if it was something you really loved, you pay the money, you go back and see it again.
Mm-hmm. To see more clips just like this, be sure to subscribe to the Region Free YouTube channel and also check out the Patreon to get exclusive content and become a Regionaire.